Welcome to the Quick Bytes live stream with your tech integration specialist, Scott Conway. Welcome and thank you for joining me. On today's episode, we're going to explore the Gemini in Google Classroom functionality, which is a great new feature with a host of functionality. As always, if you have any questions or feedback, feel free to reach out via the email on my YouTube profile. Love to hear from you. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button below. All right, so today we're going to introduce you to the newest, most helpful member of the teaching team. It's an AI assistant found directly in Google Classroom, and it is the Gemini tab in Google Classroom, or as you may see it referred to as Gemini in Google Classroom. And let me just show you what it looks like right here. And prior to getting into the rest of this, I do want to explain that this does have to be enabled at the admin level for your district. So this does have to be turned on. It does fall under the core services agreement, and it is allowable to your staff. It doesn't necessarily apply to students because this would only really be utilized by a teacher. So it doesn't necessarily need to fall under the under 13. It's a teacher only tool. And as you'll see in a moment, when I click on this dashboard here, that it's got a host of tools available to you for the educator in the classroom looking to kind of save some time and help with some real world tasks that teachers face every day. So this is definitely covered. It is part of the free plan that you do not need the upgraded paid license to have access to this. Again, it's just the admin in your district needs to make sure that this is enabled. Again, and that would have to be obviously a policy decision before anything else. So what I'm about to show you today is, again, free and available if turned on and activated in your district. So let's get right into this. It's a full suite of AI-powered generative tools built specifically for you, the teacher. Its core mission is to help you draft content like quizzes, rubrics, lesson plans. In fact, I think I'm going to try and show you all of that today, and to help you with differentiation materials. Think of it like a shortcut for your most time-consuming classroom tasks, right? And it's really got a lot in there. So what you're taking a look at here, I'll click show more. You'll see the full scope of everything that they offer right here. And then at the top, you could see where it says get started on generating content from Gemini. You can sort, or I'll say filter by topic area. So if you're looking to do things related to planning, just filter by planning. Or if you're looking to create instructional materials or assessments, if you're looking to do things that might support students, or your generic administrative tasks. So I'm going to go back to all, and I want to kind of orient you to what you see here, because you're probably looking at this and you're seeing some familiar icons and some new icons, right? And the one that's familiar is probably like one that looks like this. That looks like the Gemini icon, that diamond-shaped, kind of star-shaped icon that Gemini is known for. And then you see other ones like here, outline a lesson plan, that has its own specific little image icon. So the difference is the ones that are, I'll say, baked right into Google Classroom, fully integrated within Classroom, and will work and generate as an integrated application, send things out directly to Classroom or make assignments directly in Classroom, are the ones with these icons. They're native to Gemini in Classroom. The ones with the Gemini logo, this little app icon right here, like brainstorming real world examples, what that will do is that will actually take you out to the Gemini app. So from here, it's almost like just a hyperlink, and it's going to help you. It's going to front load, almost like a gem in the Gemini app. It's going to front load a generative chat that will help you kind of brainstorm real world examples, and it'll walk you through the process. It'll be almost like a guided tool for the teacher. It will help guide you through the process of brainstorming or creating a jigsaw activity, drafting a class syllabus, and so on. So we'll hopefully show you kind of one of these today. So that's where we're going to be. I want to just give you a quick little overview of what this looks like. I know there are other educationally focused AI tools and platforms out there that this might look similar to. This might be a smaller subset of some of the tools that you find in some of those broader platforms, but the nice thing about this one, Gemini and Google Classroom, is just that it's in Classroom. It's already here where you're living and breathing, and you're creating assignments, you're creating formative assessments, you're creating formal assessments, and you can seamlessly push this stuff right out. So I want to kind of take a look at that and show you. Um, just how it works and a couple of these little tools. So let's start with just this top one here, outline a lesson plan. I'll go ahead and click on that. And you can see it stays right here in Google Classroom. Our target grade, let's say, is 7. I'm going to take just the general template for right now, and we'll say, let's do the scientific method. Okay. Now you can see that I can also, and I can expand on this. Obviously, it's very simplified. I just typed scientific method and that's it. But I can go into greater detail in here that will help refine, obviously, the lesson plan that I go and create. For the sake of time, just going to throw in scientific method. You can also see that I can upload relevant instructional materials. So if I already have worksheets and documents that I've curated from other sources and that I want to include in this lesson plan, I can certainly do that. That will only serve to enhance or enrich the lesson plan that this is about to output. I'm going to go ahead and click generate, and we're going to give it a couple seconds because that's all it takes, right? And then it's not quite ready just yet. It's come up with some suggested learning objectives. So it's going to say, all right, students will be able to sequence and describe the essential steps of the scientific method from forming a question to drawing a conclusion and so on. If you don't like this, or if this is slightly off, or you want to direct this a little bit differently down a different path, you have the ability to edit it right now, make changes. You can also, as you see down here, describe your class. Say the class size is small or really large, resources that you might have available to you in the classroom that might enhance the lesson, right? Let's say I have microscopes, or I don't have microscopes. I have this, I have that. Certain learning needs, a portion of my class are EL, or a large portion of my class are EL or ML students, and that might matter. Special interests, maybe that class has taken a liking to a certain show and you want to kind of gear this towards that or use different themes. You can do that here. I'm just going to go ahead right now. Know obviously that you can doctor this up and enhance this to your heart's content, but for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and click generate lesson. And we're going to see that just bare bones what it's going to do for us without any enhancements or embellishments to what I'm putting in there. So it's generating live right here and for us. And you can see there it is, grade 7 scientific method gives a mystery of melting ice. And this is the steps and hypotheses that we're going to do and go through. So there's my lesson overview, the materials that I need for both the teacher and the students, any preparation that's required, common misconceptions. This is kind of cool. Things that you can kind of debunk as you're going through the lesson to help students learn better. That, oh, I've heard this, but yeah, well, that's not really true. This is the common misconception, and here's how we can work it into the lesson. And then you get into your activity 1, activity 2, activity 3, and obviously you can work with this, right? This is not done. This is a work in progress. You can also see they've got an assessment or an exit ticket, because down here at the bottom, right after it, right, I can provide differentiation, a lesson for advanced learners. These are quick little anticipated adjustments that you may want to make. All right, here's one: modify the activities to include a soccer theme. Not sure where that got that from. I like soccer, but I'm not necessarily a huge soccer fan. So whatever, maybe it's just a simple suggestion. You can also go full on with modifying with a prompt. So you can, at this point, say anything to have this readjust live real time. So that's the beauty of this. It's got that modification right there. Um, and then obviously here's my export. I can export to docs. I can copy it to the clipboard. This is a lesson plan, so it's not something I would necessarily export right into Google Classroom, but you'll see that we might be able to make, assignments out of this or something like that. So let me export to docs. Actually, no, you know what? Well, we'll take that and then we'll download it. We'll see here. I'll download that as well, let's see if we can download it as a PDF. We'll put it there. We may end up using it. We may end up just copying and pasting. I'm going to copy it as well, because now I'm going to come right back out to, let's see, changes. No, I'm good. I want to go right back out to Gemini. And now that I have a lesson plan, let's say I want to, where is my text tool? Right, informational text. That's it. Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. We're going to back that up a little bit. We're going to start with the informational text, right? I need grade 7 scientific method, right? Going along with my lesson plan. I didn't want to copy my lesson plan in there to generate this. All right, here we go with the suggested learning objectives. Okay, now this is where I'm creating that resource for my students to use during the actual lesson that I'm teaching. I'm going to go ahead and click generate. And then we're going to use this to re-level the text. There we go. All right, now you can see the big warning they have there for you. Check the accuracy of any AI generated content. So you as the teacher, you as the expert are going to need to go through and make sure that this is okay before you do anything with it. Now, at the bottom, you can see export to docs, add to class. So this is where I would go and pick the class, put it as a classwork type, and it would be either an assignment, maybe it's a quiz assignment, a question, or just a generic resource material. In this case, it's an informational text, so I might put it as a material. Or I might want them to use it as an assignment to do something else. So I got my choice here, okay? But that is adding it directly to class. You see the built-in right there. It's at top and the bottom as well. I'm gonna go ahead and export this one to docs. And then I'm gonna go ahead and copy all. So this is written at a 7th grade level, right? So now we're going to go back out and here's our re-level text tool. And let's say I have some students in my class who are reading at a 5th grade reading level. And I'm going to now paste my informational text, go ahead and click generate. And so what I'm basically doing is taking that informational text that was meant for my 7th grade students reading on grade level, and I'm now going to generate a new informational text that should hopefully be down to a 5th grade reading level to make it a little bit easier for them to read. And you can see on the left hand side, I've got the original text and then the re-level text right here, and I can export that to docs, and I can add that to a class as well. So that is re-leveling a text. I could even take, let's see if we go back out here and let's generate a quiz. Let's say grade 7, number of questions, we're going to do 3. We'll do the scientific method. Create some, generate some learning objectives. Again, we're right back into that whole part. I can modify that. I'm going to say, in this case, let's say it's a long answer. I'm actually going to drop it down to, let's say 1. It's a 1 like essay style question, right? Because after we generate this quiz, and there is the, okay, there's my question, right? I'm going to copy that. Okay, that is my question. A scientist wants to find out if the amount of sunlight a tomato plant receives affects how many tomatoes it produces, blah, blah, blah. All right, that's my long answer question. Now, I could even, now that I've got that question, come out and create a rubric, right? How many performance levels? I've got students who are going to be writing an answer, a long form answer to that question, right? On our assignment or our lesson on the scientific method. I'm going to paste my information right here. And then I'm going to say, describe the knowledge or skills you want your student to demonstrate. We'll say content specific knowledge. For the sake of time, we're going to just kind of throw this in there real quick. And this is going to generate, all right, there's our suggested rubric criteria. Steps, hypothesis formulation, identification of variables, definition of variables, drawing a supported conclusion. All right, that sounds great. For the sake of time, we're just going to continue on and generate rubric. So now we've gone through like kind of the full process here in just a matter of a few minutes, creating a lesson plan, creating an informational text, re-leveling that text for certain students, generating a long form question, so like almost like an essay question, and then going right into generating the rubric for that essay question so that once the students turn that in for that assignment in, I can judge it or score it based on this rubric. So in a matter of a few minutes, I've gone full circle on this from beginning to end on the whole process. So you can see how quickly this can be for the teacher who's in need of creating resources and materials for their classroom. Now, I did rush through, obviously, and as you saw, I made a misstep there, and I did something that's slightly out of order. But in a matter of about 10 minutes, I've gone full circle on this. Like I said, start to finish, I can, and you saw this at every step of the way. I've been able to kind of work with this, and I could give it additional details. I've gone through and done just the bare bones, right? Scientific method. That's often all I said. It generated the learning objectives for me. It did that several different times, and I can obviously adjust those and enhance those as I see fit. I can add in additional resources to help embellish all of this. But from a standpoint of efficiency, this is a great tool. It's got a lot of things in here for teachers to take advantage of. And so there's the output for the rubric. You can see it's a 4-point rubric. Far from approaching, approaching, meeting, exceeding, and then obviously you could adjust this if you need to or you see fit. So that's that. Now going back out to the Gemini in classroom dashboard, let's take a look at one of these that kind of dumps right out. Let's do a jigsaw activity. This one, as you can see, is opening in the Gemini app, right? Now, this again is something that is available to you so long as it's turned on, but it's not built right into Classroom. It is going to use the Gemini app. So we are leaving the Classroom environment, right? We stepped out of it. Any of the ones with these icons, you're going to go out into the Gemini app, and now it's going to start working with you, almost like a guided lesson, right? Or a guided learning approach to Gemini. It has this kind of preloaded in here. You can see the prompt is already there for you. They don't hide it. You can see it, right? So it's going to walk you through this. So it says, hi, I'm here to help you get started on your jigsaw activity. First, I'll ask you some questions to be sure we tailor it to your style. This will be a collaborative process. So feel free to give me feedback if I miss the mark, right? I've talked to you about this in all of my AI sessions, is that you want to talk with, or you want to chat with these chatbots. When you think you're done, you're not. Always kind of prompt back or say, that's great, but I need it to do this, or that's awesome. Could you also add this in or change this or tweak that? So here it is. To start, can you tell me a little bit about your goal with the jigsaw? And I want to do an activity on the scientific method for a grade 7 classroom of students. And you can see now you're in the midst of going back and forth with the chat bot here. It's going to take a little bit to think about what it wants to do. Now, the brand new Gemini 3 just rolled out today, so this is real new. But all right, this is a foundational topic for grades 7th graders. To help me structure the jigsaw pieces effectively, are there specific components of the scientific method you want to prioritize? Yeah, let's just copy this, paste it. For the sake of time, let's say we're going to focus on differentiating between independent and dependent variables. That's always a tough topic for this grade group, or this topic and grade, and see where it goes. So we're just chatting with the normal Gemini app, and you can see that through this guided approach, it's going to walk you through setting all this up. Now, for the sake of time, I'm going to stop here and just say that you could continue on as it is intended to help you create this activity that you will then use in your classroom. So again, those are the apps. When we come back to Gemini in Classroom, those are the ones that have the Gemini logo, that little star or diamond shaped icon. Those are going to open in the Gemini app. The rest of these that have these nice little icons are going to be fully integrated within Google Classroom and allow you to kind of utilize or benefit from some of that integration, in which case you can push them out to classes as assignments, quizzes, all that. So you got some great tools in here. We may do more with this in future episodes. This episode at this point, I just wanted to, again, give you an overview of what's available to you. It is available in my district. It may or may not be in your district. Again, you might have to ask to have this turned on, but it is covered under the core services agreement. So that kind of box is already checked, but you may have to kind of go a little bit further with your district if need be. So that is all. Thank you for joining me. And that's a wrap for today's episode. Thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't already, be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes. Until next time, stay curious, keep exploring, and never stop learning.